You are
Welcome,
horrible.
welcome to the show. I'm going to catch you a little earlier than that. Hey, I'm Will Roberts, and that right there is RJ
I'm
Owens.
RJ Owens. Sorry,
And
I'm making sure that we are up and running here,
oh,
so
we
bear
are.
with me.
You're really close.
Oh, because I have to be close to get to my phone, which is up here. When I'm relaxed, I'm back here. How's that? A little better there for you, Mr. Will Roberts?
Yeah, welcome to Talking Books, folks. Dot 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 live. And we were on for a second earlier, but that was
Yes.
that. Yeah, that person was just basically a pamphlet author. So it was a very short show.
Yeah, it
Kid.
was a very short show. This is Talking Books Live, your only place where you can be up close and personal with Amazon authors talking about the books they have for sale here on Amazon. We have some fantastic authors lined up, and today's author is no exception. You'll notice down in our scroll below us is all the products that we have available today, including the 2 books that are available from our author and guest later on in the show. I'm going to tell you the story one more time because I think it needs to be told. People want to know how this came about. And Will and I are both very avid readers, and we were discussing a way to get authors known on Amazon Live. And luckily, one of our friends is a publisher who
Yeah,
publishes books, but she also helps people get up in the top, as she says, top 50
yeah.
of Amazon Live sellers.
Yeah.
And we brought this idea to her and talked about it and thought it was a good idea to bring these authors on live to talk about their books, because where else do you get a chance? Even at book signings, you don't get a chance to ask authors questions. They very rarely have a question and answer segment, and you don't really learn anything from a book, from a dust cover. So we thought, bring them on. Let's talk. Let's talk about their books. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about their passion. And that's where we are today, Talking Books Live here on Amazon Live.
I
Once
love it.
again, I'm RJ Owens. I'm your co-host with that guy over there.
I'm
Yeah,
Will
over there,
Roberts.
Will Roberts.
Over
Will, it's nice to see you dressed up today.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you
You
go-
know,
are you going out to rob a bank later on? What's going on?
yeah. I hanging out. Yeah. Anyway, hey, don't mess with me because I'll do this trick if you don't. If you do.
That's good television right there. Is what that is. That's just good TV. I don't care who you are.
Hey, so thanks for coming on the show and hanging out with everybody. You can check us out on the app, and below you can certainly see that we have items in it, like RJ said. And we're going to be adding in interesting items all the time. Things that you can get, of course, on Amazon. I love Amazon. At one point, though, I have to be honest with you that I thought about going into a separate business of just selling all the boxes, the empty boxes, back to Amazon that my wife was having delivered to the house every day. But now I'm contributing to it and buying all kinds of fun things
And
because
sadly, they won't take them back because of COVID protocols.
I know. But you know
Yeah.
what? Days of borrowing a cup of sugar, psh, gone. Amazon
Nope.
Prime.
Can I borrow a box? You got a box?
Got a box. All right. So, with that being said, let's launch into it, RJ. I'm going to you to introduce our person because I see someone left us a note here. Oh, Amazon customer. Looking forward to hearing more about sales and leadership. Yeah, I don't really get that. I don't really
That's
understand.
because that's what our guest talks about, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest is the lovely and talented Mary Ellen Hastings. If for those of you who don't know Mary Ellen, she is one of the most prolific and successful women entrepreneurs in the business, and she took the time to write these books to help women grow, both grow in their sales skills, but also in their business acumen, and also grow in their faith. And it's great to have her on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the middle box, Mary Ellen Hastings.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good to be here.
The crowd is going wild. Mary Ellen, I'm in a long.
Welcome, Mary Ellen. How are you doing today?
Yeah,
I am doing great. I'm so happy to be here.
good.
We're happy to have you here, and we're excited to talk to you about your books. But we just want to talk to you about you for a second, because you are in a very fortunate position of you. You have actually helped many people build the perfect sales staff, including your own sales staff. And I just want to know what led you into that specific area of expertise when it came to doing your business.
Well, actually, it came as a result of asking God to help us with our tight budget when I was a young mom. And his response was a direct selling opportunity. And I jumped in. And because I knew it was an answer to prayer, I jumped in with both feet, and I really did well.
Well, let me ask you a question on that. Is that
Yeah.
so originally what was the business that you were talking about where you said, look, I need help, God, and what do I do?
I was a stay-at-home mom, and we were doing fine, but there was no
Oh, sorry. That was an accident. That was an accident. That's
stay-at-home
a
moms.
good answer.
Yay!
You know what's a good answer? Sorry about
That's okay. So I was a stay-at-home mom, and everything was cool except we were penny pinching.
that. Right.
The bills got paid, that kind of stuff. And I said, God, is there any way we could have a little extra money without me having to leave my kids? Because at that time, women didn't go to work; they stayed home and watched their children. So it was a different time. And I got into direct selling, and I was able to work it around my life and not make it my life. And yet, I produced income beyond what I ever dreamed.
Right.
Fantastic. That's
Now, when you
fantastic.
talk about, can I ask you, when you talk about direct sales, I mean, things have changed a lot. I mean, both RJ and I kind of, I guess you could say, started in business relatively the same time, 40 years ago. It was different. It was a different time. That was back then. Both RJ and I worked at sort of the same radio station, not sort of, the actual same one, where the guys came in with a phone book this big and went, get to work. And that's what you did. You got on the phone, you cold called, you tried to figure out what people wanted. What exactly? What does that mean when you say direct sales?
Well, the kind of direct sales that I was in was like Mary Kay,
Oh,
Tupperware, anything that you go to people's home and you do a party.
oh, sure.
Everybody has fun, and they buy products that they love, and you make money, and everybody's happy. So it was a real fun thing.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get your shot here. There. Nope, that's not me. I'm playing around here, having a hard time. There it is. Sorry about that. I'm pressing the wrong buttons today. I'm technologically challenged this morning. Okay, so yeah, it's funny you say that because I remember in my childhood growing up with my mother doing Tupperware parties, doing jewelry type of stuff. Back then, that was funny because I remember making the comment to my mother saying, after about a year of her doing this, I said, "Do you have any friends left?" Because you know what I mean. You wind up knocking on all your friends' doors, going, "How about a Tupperware
Yeah,
party?" But I have to tell you, sealing, I love, got to hear the burp. Love my Tupperware.
yeah, yeah.
RJ, want to throw a question out? Can you hear me? I don't
I
think RJ.
did. I just realized that I had muted myself because I coughed, and I was like, I'm going to start talking. Better check and see if I'm muted. Okay, there we go. We're back. All right. Um, and from those direct sales and your direct sales experience, what led you into becoming an author?
Well, my first experience was my 50th wedding anniversary, and that's when I wrote a book about
Wait a
my
second. Wait a second.
marriage.
Wait. 50 years being married.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Congratulations. That is astounding. You don't hear that anymore. So
No,
congratulations
I'm
to
here.
you. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was fascinating
No,
to me.
you hear more
I'm a
people say,
dinosaur.
you hear more
So
people.
anyhow, I always wanted to write a book, and that was a good excuse to do it. So I hired a coach to teach me how to do it, and all I did was tell what I had to learn to have a successful marriage, because I didn't come from a successful marriage, so I had to learn. My husband and I spent a lot of time learning. And so I put all of that learning in my book so that I could help other couples, because I found there are couples that want to stay married.
Right.
And those are the couples I wanted to help.
You two sound like two pigs in a blanket. That's amazing. Wait, is that the name of the book?
Yeah.
Happy as two pigs in a blanket. Lessons
Oh my
learned.
gosh, like how I threw that in there. That was fantastic. That is one of the books that's available down below as well. If you'd like to read all about Mary Ellen's successful, up until that point, successful 50-year marriage, and I'm sure how many years past that is it now?
56 now.
Wow.
56 years of success. That book is available down below. You can pick that up here on Amazon, and we're more than happy to have it here. And in that, from that first experience in writing, did that fuel your passion for writing even more, or like most authors that I know, including myself, every time I write something, I put down the pencil and it takes me forever to pick it back up again. Did that just really instigate you into writing your next book?
It took 5 years before I was willing. It's a lot of work. I mean, I just, everything I stand for is excellence. So until it's really good, I'm not putting it out there. And so it took me 5 years, I think, to be willing to do that again. And what happened is, a friend of mine, I was on an extended road trip with my husband, and a friend of mine called who used to be in a direct selling business with me. And she said, I need a coach. I'm going to move to Florida. And she knew I had done that. So she said, will you coach me? And I said, sure, that was fine. And I enjoyed it. I coached her for a whole summer, and she kept dropping money in my bank account. And I was like, I would have done it for nothing, but she was dropping money. And when it was over, I was like, I think I like that. So I thought, well, let me look into this coaching thing. And then I found somebody who actually helped me get all of my experience out of me onto paper, all my successes. And that's how the second book came about. That I started coaching, and I said, I need to get all of this in a book, so that if a person, maybe they'll never reach me, maybe they'll never see me or actually speak with me, they may be on the other side of the world, but they can read my book. And if they're, they can always get in touch with me if they need to talk further.
Well, two things I want to say is, number one, 56 years. I think more people statistically we live to the age of over 100 than people stay married for 56 years. So that's
probably.
The other thing I want to say and ask you is, how is it? I mean, seems like a pretty cliche sort of question to ask you, but because you've been in business for a long time, how has it changed? And by the way, you're still very successful in this modern sort of changing social media / people have attention span deficits. How is it that how are you doing? How have you adapted, and what old school skills are you telling people that they should still have now?
Well, people's skills are person to person. You can't keep in touch with a team just on social media or just on the computer and expect to build a relationship. It doesn't work.
No, you're right.
Like, how would you get married if all you did was text each other all day? That was it? And then you went to bed? That's not going to work. No. So they have to find ways to actually speak with people where we didn't have options. I had to have, I was on email, sending a bunch of copies, and then we would have phone calls with all my leaders. And then maybe quarterly, I would get together with everyone and, train the leaders and invite their leaders to come in. And we had to do it all that way. And now we can do it on Zoom. We have lots of people on there, and, it's easier actually today.
It is.
It is.
But I'll tell you, one of the things, and I've been dying to ask you this question, one of the things that I have a big problem with is I'm not like 90 years old or anything, so please don't point at me if you're
That's
in your
right. I'll be 90 someday, and I'll be happy to be there.
Me too, absolutely. But to all the younger demographic out there, please don't point your finger and say, well, that's just an old person's thought there, Will. But here's my question, or my concern is that I send out a lot of emails and try to reach out to people and say, let's talk on the phone. And I get a lot of people, to be honest with you, that say, talk on the phone? I can't do that. They literally say, I've had people say to me, oh, no. You want to text me, or can you maybe just send me I can't talk on the phone with you. I'm like, but why not? And I'm finding that a lot of modern business, younger demographic, is having a hard time with actually, one-on-one conversations. I'm not sure if it's just lack of confidence, or they never had it, or it's because we're so used to dealing with 144 characters at a time. What's your communication?
Well, I think if a person is like that, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm sure there's a place where they fit, but it's not going to be in building relationships for sure. I mean, you had to be willing to go out of your comfort zone. If in today's world that speaking one-to-one is part of the going out of the comfort zone, they have to be willing. I mean, I have to go out of my comfort zone every single day.
Sure.
So
well, it's sales. That's the whole thing with sales, is that it is really, honestly, you made a very interesting point or your statement there. And I just want to say that anybody that does sell, because I can sell ice to the Eskimos in water form anyway, but the point is that you literally, sales is about going into other people's situation, but finding a way to find common ground and finding out what they want, and then saying, that's why I'm here with you. So it should be exciting, but it's sometimes difficult for people.
Yeah, it's not an easy business. Business isn't easy.
No.
But if you find something that you love, then it makes it bearable and enjoyable. Right. You keep going because you know it's what you're supposed to do.
Sure.
Once you know that, you're just like, I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever it takes. Like when I wanted to make my first $100,000, I said, I'll do whatever it takes. And I did. I worked my buns off. I had to travel all over. We didn't have Zoom. I had to fly to this state and that state to see different groups. And that was fine. That was what I had to do. And I didn't care. But today it's different.
Right.
You know, but people adjust.
But like you said, it's actually, in some cases, it's actually better. So, you know, it is
better. It is better. You can reach a lot more people without wearing yourself out. You don't come home with, you know, fatigue just because you've been on an airplane for hours several times a month. Right. So, you know, it's good. It's more than good. It's wonderful.
Are you?
That's fantastic.
Are you in the?
We're gonna Will, I want to continue this, but we're gonna take a short break because when we come back, we want to talk to you actually about the book that we want to talk to you about and get your insight on that. So we'll be right back, Mary Ellen, in just 1 second.
Okay.
But remember, you guys are watching Talking Books live here on Amazon Live. I'm RJ. That's Will. In the middle, we have our special guest, Mary Ellen Hastings. If you're interested in any of Mary Ellen's books, they're listed down below, along with a couple other products like a book light and that type of thing. But we will be right back right after this.
All right, RJ, we're back on the show, and of course, Mary.
We are back.
I got you again. You're out there.
You caught me again, and I was just getting ready to mute myself and cough. So, hey, look at that! I didn't get a chance. I didn't get all my coughs out during the break, and I wanted to make sure. So, we are back to Talking Books Live. I'm RJ. That's Will. This is the only place where you can actually talk to authors who are selling their wares. That's not the right word I want to say. With authors who are actually selling their books here on Amazon. You can talk to them. You can ask them questions. Our chat is open if you'd like to ask any questions. Also, our authors' books are for sale down there in the scroll below us. Will, I love Mary Ellen. I love everything she stands for. In my grandma's vernacular, and this is my grandma speaking, not me, my grandma would say, that's one tough broad. Because my grandmother's of that same ilk, and my grandmother would say, my grandmother would probably say that Mary Ellen was wearing pants long before any woman should be, just out there making her name in the business. And I want to bring Mary Ellen back here, and I want to talk to Mary Ellen about her book. And I'm number one, I'm fascinated by it, but number two, I think everybody should.
There you go.
Everybody should have their passion. And obviously, her passion is dealing with uh, her business, but not just her business. She wanted to expound on that to all women of faith. And the title of the book that we're going to talk about today is Follow Your Heart for Life, Be Happy, 8 Steps for Women of Faith to Excel in Sales, Leadership, and Personal Growth. Now, we've talked a little bit about your sales leadership, and we talked about a little bit about your personal growth, but let's talk about this book and how it came together and working with that coach and getting those ideas out there and then becoming a coach yourself and then realizing you had more ideas to share with the world. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, when it first came about and I was writing this book, something inside of me said, Mary Ellen, your life has not been in vain. You have a lot of things that you can teach women. And that was really good for me to hear because I always have to have a purpose. I'm never going to be in a rocking chair unless I absolutely have to be. It's part of me to be a contributor to life. And I try to do what I teach women to do, which is find their gifts, find their talents, find where God is asking them to spend their talents to make the world a better place. And many women want to do that and they can't figure it out. So what I do is I teach them my steps that I had to do myself. I don't just pull them out of the air. I only teach what I had to learn myself that worked. And if it worked, I put it in the book.
That's fantastic because not enough people are using that practical knowledge. A lot of people will hear what I oftentimes call just, rhetoric or babble of people who have expertise and they don't have any experience with what they're saying. They just have heard somebody else say it and they've interpreted it into their own words and they've put it out as fodder for people who are buying books. But you've actually put practical life experience to every single one of these tips that you are now giving out and you've now written about. And I think that's just a commendable act of kindness and wonderfulness.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure to even have an audience. That God has gifted me with an audience. These people look at me and my people, the people who are meant to work with me, look at me as a woman who has wisdom. Wisdom comes with age and they trust me. And those are my women. If they don't like me because of my age, they're not my women. They're somebody else's. Right. So that's why my book is more, I talk about faith-based because faith-based women appreciate the wisdom of age. And I'm very honest. I've always been an honest person. I've always had a very good reputation. I still have people from many, many years ago that keep in touch with me and thank me for continuing my work. Right. So, of course, I need that. That keeps me going. I'm real happy about that. And all the things that I need to keep going, I teach other people.
You said something very important that, I used to travel around the world. Actually, RJ went with me many times as well. And I used to do a one-man Will Rogers style show. And one of the things I used to tell people, because I've been through probably every state at least 2 or 3 times in doing my cowboy stuff and what I did, my trick roping and all that stuff. But one of the things I used to tell people all the time is I'd go to the small cities and talk to people and sit around because, everybody has a story. But the thing that I always used to get mad at is that we were not taking care of our elders. We were not listening to our elders. And it's funny because my good friend Coke Myers, Doris Coke Myers, who's since passed away a few years ago, who is a great-great-grand niece of Will Rogers, I used to talk to her every 2 weeks in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and people would say, she would say, why do you want to talk to me, Will? And I said, well, because I believe that we don't listen to our elders enough, and they've been there and done that. Because I would say something to her and say, hey, Coke, and she was named after the soda drink in the 1920s and so on. But anyway, I would say, well, because you've been there and done that, and it's nothing new. And I believe that people can learn from people who are older. We're those people, and young people in performance and doing what we do listen to us, and hopefully they'll listen and learn. And I think what you're saying is that you're giving the years of wisdom and experience and trial and error, And you're saying to them, look, if you don't want to spend an extra 5 years doing the wrong thing and watching your
Exactly.
money dwindle, listen up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And I just
And
exactly. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that when they read my book and or coach with me, they save themselves 10, 15, 20 years
Yeah,
of time.
yeah.
I'm going to teach them what took me 30 years to learn, and they can learn it in 6 months, a year, or 2 years, however long they choose to coach with me. That's why I make it available.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fantastic. We're getting ready to throw to one of our next segments and wrap up here, but I want to ask you, without divulging the 8 steps in the book, because
Okay.
obviously we want people to purchase your book.
Down below.
If you could give one very succinct idea as to how women and women of faith can achieve their goals in today's society, what would that be? Just give us a soundbite, a quote, something that will stick in their minds.
I would say find a group of like-minded women and stay connected. Iron sharpens iron.
Wow.
That's great. That's great. Mary Ellen Hastings, thank you so much for being here today. I know that we have several viewers that are ready to purchase the books, and I know that we are thoroughly excited to have you here. And if you'd like more information about Mary Ellen Hastings, obviously you can find it here. You can also find it at maryellenhastings.com, beautiful site where you can purchase her books, and also you can talk to her about coaching. If you are a woman of faith who is looking for coaching in the business world, Mary Ellen is the person for you. But Will, I know you're going to take us to something really exciting, aren't you?
I am. And I just want to say the same thing, Mary Ellen. What is really important to me is that people carry on tradition and create more community. Because as you know, we all know that one of the biggest problems with social media sometimes is it makes us antisocial. And the problem is that we're not spending any time sitting and having conversations with each other. It is great that we have all this wonderful stuff like Zoom and these different things that we're doing. And we would not be able to have you on our show, which we are honored to have you on, if you were where you were and we were where we were. But with that being said, it's allowed everybody to be able to come together, but more importantly, listen to each other. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show. And just to let you know, folks, RJ and I are going to continue just a little bit. Thank you very much, young lady. And so with that being said, you are on Talking Books Live.
Live.
Yeah, at the very bottom, you can see any of the products that we have. We have a couple of other shows that we do where we are the open box team. We have other people we're going to be adding soon, which is I'm not going to say too much because we've got other products in our network.
Hey, Will, you know what I'm going to open today?
Did it come?
I'm getting a box from the UK that I'm going to open today.
No, did it come?
It's 1:40. My mail usually comes about 1 o'clock, so it's probably sitting in my mailbox.
Can you go and I'll stay on the air and just?
No. Well, no, because we're going to go to a segment and.
Yeah. No, yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay, so we're going to go to a segment, which is of course, our wonderful friend Liz Lawless, who is the Publisher Posse. Yeah, get her done. We'll be going to that, and then we'll come back briefly, and we will end the show. Again, down at the bottom is stuff. Hey, if you have stuff that you're interested in us running and putting on Amazon, just contact us. Go to our site, and here'syourhost.com. That's A-N-D. Here's, don't do the little... here'syourhost.com and say, hey, RJ, Will, I've got a cool product. Why don't you have me on? Because we will. All right, we're going to take a small break and talk to Liz Lawless. Do not go away. Please. Talk to you soon. 2 for 2. from the break, everybody. I hope you are having a good time on our show and enjoying our people. Books are very important, and more importantly, we like the real ones you hold on to. And of course, if you're doing this through your, your Kindle or your iPhone or whatever it happens to be that you're holding in your hand, we want to give you all the information. Plus, we want to give the information if you're trying to publish stuff by yourself. And of course, we all know that Amazon is one of the ways to do it. It is probably, when you think about it, you don't want to just jump out there and go, look, I'm going to start a business and I'm just going to just try to do it, because that means this and that could mean losing money. So with that being said, of course, we have our wonderful person that tells us all what to do, Liz Lawless. She is our publisher posse, our corner of the world, talking about this stuff. Welcome again to the show, Liz. How are you?
Hi, Will. How are you? Doing good.
Yeah, good.
All right. Excited to share more tips and secrets with your audience.
Yeah, I just love the fact that, when I started in my younger days, I guess you could say as an entrepreneur, the problem is that, you just had to like grab the magazines and the different things you could find. When I was younger, we didn't really have a lot of the phone stuff. We had maybe BlackBerry.
Right.
But now, so much information, which is actually good and which is actually bad. So with that being said, when we get someone like you in here who's been there, done that, I love that, because then you don't have, the learning curve is a little bit smaller. So why don't you tell us what we're talking about today? I'm going to check the view.
All right. So we've been sharing some secrets about 7 ways to quickly start and your writing project and the process, because that's the first thing that people always ask. Well, what do I write? Well, you write about something which we'll talk a little bit more about that next week. But the 3 points that we're covering, the 2 points we've covered so far, is create a sacred space. That means create a space somewhere in your home or that you feel comfortable writing, that you can go to and write. The second part of that was keeping all your materials together, unless you can leave it out. If you can leave your stuff out, fine, leave it out. But most of us have pets or kids or spouses, significant others, friends that drop by, and you don't want to leave your stuff out. You want to put it in a book bag, a box, something where you can zip up and put it away and then get it back again.
Yep.
Because what we're talking about is avoiding procrastination, because writers are the worst. I mean, we are just the worst we'll do everything else except sit down to write. There's just something about it. So the third thing is to commit to a time. Once you commit to a time, and especially if you can commit to that time on a regular basis, it becomes a habit. And that's what you need the writing to become. You need it to become a habit. You need to make it a priority. So if you say, I'm going to sit down for an hour at 6 o'clock on Mondays, or 3 days a week, or on Saturday afternoon, I don't care when it is, just set a time, work to that time. If it's 15 minutes, it's 15 minutes. If it's 2 hours, it's 2 hours. But once you commit to that time and you do it a few days, your brain, as we've talked about, begins to get in the rhythm of that. Writing is a rhythm. And when you go to that place and you sit down at that same time every day, if you can, your brain knows that you're there to work. And you'll just start writing faster. Yeah. It'll get easier as you go. At first, it'll be uncomfortable and you'll be going, I don't know about this. It's kind of weird. Yeah. But the more you do it, that you get into that rhythm. And I don't care if you have to walk around the desk 3 times. I don't have to care if you have to go get your favorite coffee cup. Whatever your ritual is, authors have rituals. Yeah. Some people wear the same shirt, when they sit down to write, or the same, hat.
Well, let me ask you, someone on Amazon Live here just asked the question. So Liz, how do you what is your go-to method thank you, Jane. What is your go-to method in regards to, what do you do if you feel like you're procrastinating?
Well, now I'm enough in a rhythm of it. Luckily for me, I don't have white page syndrome. I mean, that's a lot of people's problem. They say, well, what do I write about? Because I was a journalism major, I can always start who, what, when, where, how. I can answer those questions and get started. I'm a night person. So, and I still write longhand. So my peak time is kind of 11 to 2. and late at night. So from 11 p.m. to 1 p.m., that's usually when I write, because that's one of my peak times.
Right.
So that's the thing you need to think about too. When do you feel most clear in your brain? Some people it's early in the morning.
Right.
You know, maybe somebody it's afternoon. I never could work the afternoon. That just is the worst. That's the worst time for me is afternoon. I like early morning and late night, but I can't get anybody else to work on that schedule.
I understand. Hey, Liz, go over to your left a little bit. Our producer is saying that we want to see more. There you go. Make sure
Okay.
we do not want to get only part of Liz Lawless. We want all of you.
We get all of it.
So you're saying, so what are you saying? You're hardcore. This is what you do. What, do you walk around the block? Do you get more coffee? What is the mindset? What do you do to actually get stuck out of not writing? Because we know you don't have the white page problem. It's a matter of what if you say to yourself, I think I'm procrastinating. What do you do? What do you do?
Well, you just have to be disciplined. You do. You have to be disciplined, or you have to have an accountability partner. You know, I have an accountability partner, and when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, you know, I say to her, "Hey, you know, I need to get this book written. I'm working on this new book. I got to have it out by, you know, June or September, whatever that deadline is. And, you know, check on me, you know, call me or text me and say, have you written that chapter today? Or you've written that chapter this week or whatever. So that's another good tip, is to find an accountability partner. If you have trouble, I mean, some people are disciplined enough, they can just sit down and do it. Most of us, not so much.
Yeah, you know, guilt is definitely a great tool to use on people who are they're not quite motivated. I use it all the time. As a matter of fact, I use it on RJ. RJ's writing a book, and well, he should. He's a brilliant man. So I say, hey, how's that book going today? And regardless of who it is, even if it isn't RJ, or something, I always kind of, you know, you got to be kind to them, but the only way to get things going is to make them move. And so I appreciate that. Let me ask you.
And take the action. And that's what those first three things are about. Those first three things are about the procrastination. The other thing is, like I say, get whatever your snack is, water, coffee, tea, beer, whatever. I don't care what you're drinking. I don't care what you're eating, but get that ahead of time. So, because otherwise what you'll do is you'll get 30 minutes in and you'll go, oh, I'm hungry. And you'll get up. Then you'll get distracted and you won't get back to it. You won't go back to it. So that's why these 7 steps are so important. It's get it all done ahead of time, cut out the procrastination. Once you do it for a period of time, it may take a couple of weeks or something, or a few days, but you'll get in the habit and you'll get in the rhythm, and you'll like it too. It'll be easier.
You will, because when you do something like, you know, honestly, if you're writing because you feel like, you know, it's a task and you have to, well, then it must be working for someone else. But if you're a writer, you're an artist, and you really, truly, passionately love to do that, it really should be something you're finally going, oh, finally, I'm doing what I want to do. Now, obviously, getting paid for it and getting acknowledgement, which, by the way, not order of appearance, is important, and it usually is a good self-motivator when someone says, you know, I really like what you wrote. And let me just say that I think, and please validate whether this is true or not, but I really think that we've talked about this before on the show with you and I, is saying that if you start a blog or you start something where you're actually putting it out there, even though you're not writing the full book, number one, you're going to find that in no time you're going to go, wow, I have enough material for a book. And number two is that it's instant sort of gratification, even if you don't get, you know, 1 million people reading it. When people do respond and they go, I really like that, it's every day. It gives you a little bit of I guess you could
motivation. Inspiration and motivation. For sure it does. And that's the thing about it. And you'll get in the zone. The other thing that happens to you is you get in the zone, and you may write for 3 or 4 hours. You may wake up, you know, you may look up and look at the clock and go, oh, I've been sitting here 3 hours. But once it starts flowing, that's the other thing that happens. You know, you got to try to stay with it if you can. You can't always. Like, every once in a while, You know, you got to pick up the kids from school, or you got to, you got to make dinner, or you got to go pick up something, or go to work, or whatever it is. But if you can kind of get in that rhythm, you'll be able to do that. Sorry
You
about
will.
that.
One thing you just mentioned that I thought that is worth bringing up is that you just said, yeah, you might have to get the kids. It's something that's really cool. Obviously, you don't want to do it while you're driving, but you open up a notepad and you have thoughts. Oh, I think it would be
Right,
really good if the woman came in the door first, and then because I do this a lot with my script building and
right,
I'm producing spots or small films or whatever commercials, is I'll go, oh, but when you're in that rhythm and you're constantly thinking in that creative mode, you want to contribute. Even if you look at it later and go, I don't even know what this means, you're still keeping your mind sharp. It's like any other
right.
skill that when you do it enough, you're going to get yourself going. And when you do it enough, I found in writing that you start sort of eliminating words, which is, in my
Right.
opinion, smart because in the beginning you're like, whoa, oh, oh, and then you look at this and you go, wow, where am I going? But when you get in a
Right.
rhythm, and I mean this from a daily blog standpoint, you start
Yeah.
going, you eliminate, you make it simpler. Less is more.
Right. Yeah. And shorter is always better. I mean, occasionally, if you're doing descriptive writing, if you're doing fiction or something like that, you may want to be describing the scene or the relationship or if you're doing dialogue or something, that's a different kind of thing. But
Sure.
you write better. And writing is a process, and it's a thing that you can practice and get better at.
Right.
It's one of
Yeah.
those skills that the more you do it, the better you get.
Right.
And everybody that's ever written, and I don't care if you're James Patterson or Nora Roberts or or Jack Canfield or whoever you are, their first time out wasn't that great.
No.
But they wrote it and they got it out there and they got in front of people and people liked what they had to say. And and now 50 million books later or whatever, they can do whatever they want to. They can live on the island in Hawaii or Tahiti or wherever, or they can work if they want to work.
And then they can sit in front of a huge fireplace they have and sit, and someone's going to say, what are you doing today? I'm just going to sit and write.
Yeah.
You become confident once you start doing these little tips and tricks. Of course, Liz Lawless and our publishing posse giving us great tips. But you become more confident, and when you become confident, it really it excels you to something.
Through. Yeah, it comes through your writing and your time. Yeah, for sure.
Liz
All
Lawless.
right. Well, thanks so much. So that was the tip today and the secret for today. And we'll be back tomorrow with another one.
We will be back, and you better show up with us, everybody. And by the way, below you can see all the different books and our person that's on today, and some other little goodies too. If you happen to be a reader, or writer, or whatever you happen to be, we really appreciate you coming on. We're gonna take a small break, and then we can get back to the end of the show. So thanks, Liz. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
All righty. Bye-bye. Thanks, Will.
Welcome back to the show.
What is that?
It's a light.
Is that your book light?
What we sell. What do you
Guess
have?
what I have in my hand? Guess
looking.
what I have?
No. Is it? Can I see it?
No, it didn't come yet.
You got a message.
Yeah, hasn't arrived yet.
You got me.
I walked out while you were interviewing Liz. I walked out to the mailbox and mail hasn't arrived yet.
That's too bad.
That must be for reading because it's not very good for lighting you.
Actually, it does.
Although, clip that to the front of your hat, clip that to the bill of your hat, point it down. There you go. We just solved the ring light for everybody. We just solved, this is it. It's perfect. It's not distracting at all. No, not at all. It's like that old put the saying, put the leading a horse with a carrot. Look at these greasy guys. Who's Wesley Williams?
I don't know. Greasy. Why are we greasy? Look.
I don't know.
The book light. Wesley, that's awesome.
There it is. The book light. Well, Will, that was Talking Books Live. You are watching Talking Books Live here on Amazon.
Don't leave yet.
I don't feel greasy. I might be a little shiny, but that's only because I moisturized today because we have a hot day out. That light is driving me insane. Just absolutely insane.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Talking Books Live. It's the only place where you can actually talk with authors live here on Amazon about the books that they have for sale here on Amazon. It was a wonderful show today. We have a bunch of other shows coming up for you. We're back here tomorrow with another Talking Books Live and on Wednesday with another Talking Books Live. But on behalf of myself and my my alien partner over there,
I'm very red.
Will, you're very red right now. I don't know why. Maybe it's my shirt. Maybe my shirt's reflecting off you. Just want to say thanks and have a wonderful afternoon. And we'll see you guys all tomorrow.
We'll see you later. Bye, everybody. Have a good time. Hold on a second. I'm going to try something. Reset. There we go. Anyway, thanks a lot. By the way, this book light is on Amazon, and it is my 10-year-old girl's book light, but like she wants to read and so on. So what's cool is, by the way, it does take 3 AAA, but it also has a little plug right here that you can plug it in, and it makes a great thing. If you want to make sure that you don't look greasy, this message has been hidden.
I know. I pulled it up, and it doesn't say why.
The message about us being greasy?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, everybody, enjoy yourself. Have a great time. By the way, on the bottom, we have other stuff we'll be doing throughout our shows and other fun shows because that's the kind of fun show guys we are. I'll see you later. Be well, be safe, and see you soon. Thanks,
Bye, everybody.